My okra is really taking off and putting off a lot of okra. It's blooming and really growing and doing good. Now, there's all different kind of varieties of okra. I do the crimson spineless, and there's all different ways of cooking okra. And it's all good and good for you. Okra has a lot of good health benefits. So welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori, and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook, and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. One of them things that you either love or you just don't like. I don't know if there's really a in-between. And I like okra in just about any way you can cook it. Now, that being said, I don't like slimy okra. So if I'm making something that I'm going to be boiling okra, I usually cut it up and just fry it just a little bit before I stick it in my gumbos or anything like that. Now, Mr. Brown, he likes that slime, so sometimes I'll make him something with it slimy in there and just let him have at it and love it, and I eat something else. But I do like okra. And I've got different sizes of okra here, because I tell you, you can go out one day and pick okra, go out the next day and you've got okra this big. And this is too big. This is tough. And you can always tell a tough one. And it also starts getting hollow inside. But you can hear it just like that. And then the seeds are already getting pretty big. And the holes are getting bigger and it's getting kind of hollow. And this is the ones that I'll keep and I'll keep the seeds out of. I don't get rid of that. And then you got this size. This is my favorite size right here. If I'm pickling okra, and I don't know that I've got any small enough right here. I left them out there to let them grow another day. We'll say maybe this size right here for pickling. But even sometimes, when it's so hot and dry, you can get one. Now you could tell, you could hear that it just wasn't. Compare it to this. Now that does have a little, but it still is tender. I can run my knife through there real easy. So this is one that but it's starting to go the other way, you can tell. And this is another one that's too big, but as I cut into it, it doesn't feel tough. So you just never know. I mean, it's starting to get that way because you can tell by the sound of it. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it because it's getting tougher. The one thing Mr. Brown doesn't like is when he bites into a little piece of okra and it's tough and chewy and you just can't bite into it and really eat it. So it needs to be tender. This one's really tender. I can tell by the way the knife just kind of glides through it. And as you get down to the bottom, it might get just a little bit tougher. Our okra right now is really starting to take off. And that's the way it does here in northeast Arkansas, or at least on this hill. It'll give us a little okra as it's growing. And of course, we had such a really dry, horrible hot summer that I thought it was going to be stunted. But usually this time of year is when it really starts taking off and it'll start blooming. And we'll have okra plumb into the end of October, so we start really getting quite a bit of okra this time, and as we go. And I do have lots of recipes using okra, and I've done videos where you've seen me cook okra. Mr. Brown loves gumbo. He loves the way that I make gumbo. I don't make it the way a lot of other people do, But Mr. Brown's favorite. Now this one, you can't even cut into. See how tough I can't even run that knife through there. So now let's go on to the side. But his favorite part of gumbo is the roux. So he likes that okra and that roux and the rice. I mean, he could care less if there's any kind of chicken or anything in there. He just wants that roux, okra, and rice. And really and truly, that's kind of my favorite. Okay, this one's sounding pretty tough, so it's not going in there. I'll save the seeds from them. I know a lot of people probably cut that tough part up and put it up and eat it, but I can tell you if Mr. Brown, that one's tough. If he bites into a piece, he'll pretty much spit it back out because he just does not like that tough texture. So I have to be careful. Now, as big as this one is around, it's pretty tender. I have recipes for, there's my clock. Now, those of y'all that have been with me for a long time, y'all have not heard this in a while. We just got our clock back. Those that are just coming on board with us, that's an old German clock that we bought at a flea market a couple years ago. And I just love it. It probably gets on people's nerves, but I love it. It's very old. And I do have some videos with it in there and talking about it. But it quit on us. And Danny tried to work on it, but, you know, he don't know a whole lot about clocks. He knows enough to, you know, to wind them up and stuff like that. But we finally found somebody close enough to take our clock to. And he fixed it for us, so that was wonderful. I was so happy. I missed that old clock so bad. See, this one was good up at the top, and now it's getting tough. But like I said, it's not going to go to waste because I will save the seeds. This is, oh, I forget what this okra is right here. I'll look on the package, and I'll put it down in the description box below. But there's all kinds of different okra. I had somebody send me some, and I planted it before, and I still have the seeds in there. I'm saving them for next year. But it's, the pods are kind of reddish purple, and I have planted them before, and it's really good okra. I just can't think of the name right now. I'm getting really bad on stuff like that. It's really starting to concern me. I can't remember names of stuff. Okay, this one, as big as it is feeling pretty tender. So I'm going to get the rest of this okra cut up and in my bowl. Now, I did wash everything, and I'm going to show y'all a couple ways. There's several ways that I put my okra up. I'm not going to can okra this year. I've got plenty on my shelves. The way that I put okra up, it doesn't take up a lot of room. So I want to show y'all because I've had a lot of people ask me how I put my okra up. And I can tell you, I can take this, I can take this, and I can take a handful of okra, and I can make me and Mr. Brown a meal out of this. And it's just something that we dearly love. And this is something that my mother-in-law taught me at a very young age, because me and Danny have been together since I was very young. And she called it okay. And I've got a video, an older video making this. And it's just your summer garden stuff, your fresh potatoes, your okra, your squash, your onions. And you just fry it up in a iron skillet, just like you would fried potatoes. And it's the best thing in the world. So anyways, let me get this okra cut up, and then I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I put my okra up in the freezer. That one's tender. Ooh, that one's tender. Big old thing, but it's tender. Okay, I got my okra cut up. You can tell you can see how much was too tough. And I really hate that. And I know some people are saying, well, can't you just boil that up? No, it's still tough, or it's still too tough for me and Mr. Brown. I just can't do it. So I will be drying those and getting the seeds from them. This right here will go out to probably the hogs. They've been eating it, it ain't hurt them. I want to show y'all. This is what I'm talking about when it's starting to go the other way. It's tough. You can hear how tough it is. It's too big, and it's starting to get hollow. But you can see how big those seeds are getting in there. Pretty good size. So that's the seeds that I like to keep. Now, do I have a good germination when I keep seeds like this? It's a hit and miss. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So, but I still keep them. This right here is one that's not quite as big, but it's went the other way. You can see how hollow it is in there, not many seeds, and that's a tough one. But I think all this in here will be okay. I've already been putting okra up, but so I'm going to show you 2 ways of how I put my okra up. Now this is 2 of my favorite ways to put okra up in the freezer. And one of them is to vacuum pack it. And you can see it doesn't, this is quite a bit. This is enough servings for me and Mr. Brown if I was frying it up with some potatoes or something, or if I want to put it in a soup, a gumbo, whatever. And that's probably about 2 cups. But you can see it doesn't take up much room. And there's no kind of seasoning or flour or cornmeal, nothing on it. And I didn't blanch it. I just washed it good, cut it up, and vacuum sealed it. And I've never had any issues with it doing it this way. It comes out great. And usually when I put it in something, I don't even thaw it out. I just cut it up. I just cut it open and just throw the frozen in there with whatever I'm cooking. Can you thaw it out? Yes, you can thaw it out a little bit, and then toss it in some cornmeal or flour or whatever. Sometimes I make okra fritters, stuff like that. Now, I have canned okra, but this year I'm not going to. That's a whole nother process. And this is one of my favorite ways of putting okra up. This is a gallon-size Ziploc bag, is all it is. And what I do is when I start out with my first, mess to put in the bag, I put me some, in fact, this is just self-rising cornmeal mix. I always keep Martha White self-rising cornmeal mix is what I keep. Or you can just use regular ground up cornmeal with a little bit of flour. And I'll put some in the bottom of my bag. And then I might put a little bit of seasoning on it. You don't have to do that though. You don't have to put any seasoning on it until you go to fry it up in your pan or however you're going to fix it. And you can see that I've already started this bag. And I've got several of these bags in the freezer. They freeze up good. They don't stick together. And all I have to do is go in this bag and get me a handful of okra or however much I need. And that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to fill, this is probably more okra than this bag may hold, I'm not sure. And what I'll do is I'll put just a little bit more of my cornmeal mix in here. Not a whole lot, but just a little. Because there's still quite a bit on the bottom. And just add some more. So once I get this full enough, when I'm ready to get me a couple hands of okra out, all I have to do is open the bag up and get out what I need. Because it's not going to be all froze up, stuck together. It's not wet. The okra is not wet. It has nothing, no kind of wet ingredient on it. Like I said, you can put your little bit of seasoning in there. I'm not going to get the air out yet because I'm fixing to turn it upside down. And we're just going to, and Miss Lori just put a hole in it. So I got to get me a new bag. Don't do that. Okay, it's real life around here, y'all. What had happened on that bag is Miss Lori's a cheapskate, I guess, because I reuse my bags as many times as I can. And I think I'd probably use that gallon bag. Probably that was the third time. And it tore, the bottom tore on me. But here we go. We're trying again. This is a brand new bag. But I just shook that up. And that cornmeal is all over the okra pieces. You'll stick this in the freezer. Get the air out of it. Stick this in the freezer. And when you want to get you a couple handfuls out, just come out here, throw it on the counter. It'll break apart. And you go in that bag and grab out the amount you want. Or you can put it in quart-sized bags. I just have always done it this way. And I really like doing it because I can go in here and get whatever amount I want. If I just want a little handful, or 2 cups or 4 cups or whatever. So it's just the way I like to do it. But anyways, after that little adventure, so this is my favorite way of putting okra up. I grew up on fried okra, and all you have to do, if you've never fried okra like this, a lot of y'all have probably just ate it battered and deep fried. But all it takes is just either a good, healthy non-stick skillet or an iron skillet, and put you a thin layer of bacon grease or oil or lard, whatever you use, and you want to fry it up slowly. You don't want your heat up really high because you're going to scorch it, and it don't taste good when it's burnt and scorched. And that's all it is. It don't take long for it to brown up, and it's ready to eat. And it's got health benefits, and it's good. So, I know a lot of y'all have been asking me about how I put my okra up. So this is the 2 ways that I put it in the freezer. And sometimes I'll vacuum pack it and not even cut it up. I'll just leave it whole and vacuum seal it just like that. So besides these 2 ways of how I put my okra up, I have canned it, like I said. And of course, I do pickle okra. I haven't pickled any in a while because me and Mr. Brown don't go through it very fast. So I still got some in the pantry. But that's about it. I mean, I'm just an old-fashioned girl, and I do it the old-fashioned way. And this is just my favorite way of doing it. And I believe I showed y'all in a video a while back how I put my squash up. And that's easily done. And I like it both ways. I like the way that I can it, when I can it to fry. And I like it when I just cut it up and flash freeze it and then vacuum seal it. And like this, you can even coat it with your cornmeal and season it up after you slice it up. Flash freeze it, put it in a bag, or vacuum seal it just like this. I mean, it's just that easy. And it always tastes good coming out of the freezer. I've never had any problems with it. The only problems I ever had is letting it thaw out too much, and it wants to get mushy on you, so you don't want to do that. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you've never put up okra, you see a little bit of how it can be put up. I used to watch, and I miss him very much, an older man that a lot of y'all probably still remember him, Charles, old Alabama Gardner. He was the one that I learned to can okra and to can squash to fry. Now, I can can up squash and pickle okra. But in all my times of canning, I didn't realize that it would turn out as good as it did by canning it the way that he shows us how to do it. I'm going to go back to his channel, and I haven't been there in a while, and I hope that it's still there. And I'm going to find them videos, and I'm going to put the link down below of him showing us how to can up squash and how to can up okra, and how he done it, because he loved that fried okra, and that's the way he would put his okra up. Now, if I can't find it for some reason, that it's not there anymore, you won't see it in the description box. And maybe sometime I'll end up canning a little bit for you. But I would rather him show you how, because he's the one that taught me, and I just think that he should get all the praise for it. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you didn't plant okra, you can buy okra already frozen in the supermarket, and I have done it many times, and it's good okra. You can buy it whole, or you can buy it cut up, frozen, and I've used it in a lot of dishes. I've used it in my gumbos and stuff like that. So if you can't get any fresh and you really haven't ate it or haven't tried it, but you'd love to cook some up, just go to the grocery store and get some out of the frozen food section. I think you'll like it. So guys, I hope that everybody's getting a little bit of rain. I think we may get a little bit more this weekend. Everything's kind of greening up. School has started. So today's Friday. So we've been there a week, and everybody's kind of getting settled in. It's been a little bit hectic, but it's always that way the first week of school. So I hope everybody's doing well this week. I hope y'all have a beautiful weekend, and stay safe. If you still got stuff coming out of your garden, I think that's a big blessing. And I started some fall stuff. I will probably get into that a little bit later, but I just don't have much time right now with work and stuff. And when I come in, I run out there and I water everything, look everything over. I've had a couple of big barn rats that got in my high tunnel and ate my sweet peas. And how do I know that? Because Danny caught one of them in a live trap. So we're always dealing with something like that, and I know a lot of y'all do. The squirrels have ate more of my tomatoes than we have. It's just been one of them summers. But you know what? We're still eating. The Lord blesses us every day, and He blesses you too. So we'll see y'all in a few days. God bless. We love y'all.